Mic check 1 2 1 2.
My sweet waifu.
Is that you?
One way or another.
Mic check. Mic check, waifu. King Teliano, is that you?
What's good, my brother? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling well, man. Mic check, waifu is back after taking a field trip over to Black Anime Podcast, which was a lot of fun. That episode was a lot of fun. So if you guys don't know, we featured on Black Anime's podcast with the homie, the lost homie, Aaron. We had him on 2 weeks ago, and we were on his last week. Our episode of his is season 2, episode 5, Black Culture and Anime. So check that out. Make sure y'all listen to that. It's a real fun episode, man. I re-listened to it back and I'm like, yeah, we had a blast. You could tell it was super natural, super chill. So go check that episode out for us. But this is Mic Check Waifu. Welcome. This is episode 35. As always, I'm your host, Polo. That's Tel. And as we start every week, we like to thank our sponsor, Lube Complex. Shout out to Lube Complex. Go to lubecomplex.com and use that offer code waifu to save. Also, as well as our Patreon producers. Let me go to our Patreon producers just to make sure I'm correct on who we got producing this week episode, which is almost not that much different than usual. But of course, we got the homie Connor. Connor hold us down on the gaming side of things. Monique Williams, Chris Goodywin, and the homie D Prince. Shout out to y'all for sponsoring the pod, or not sponsoring the pod, but you get what I'm saying. Producing the podcast. Yeah. We love y'all.
Keeping us going. You
guys are absolutely incredible. D Prince gave us that topic last week. The greatest anime swordsman, man. It went well. It's still doing extremely well on the listens too, by the way. So shout out to you for that. We got a great topic for you today. We also got My Hero to talk about in the second half of the show, and I cannot wait to talk about that. I got some things to say. But if you listen to Black Anime Podcast, I already shared this information there. I want to start this episode off with your boy Polo announcing that he is completed, or he has completed season 3 of Haikyu. For everybody that don't know or that didn't listen to last week's episode or our episodes coming up leading up to this one, your boy Polo do not like sports anime. I hate it. But everybody on Twitter, especially Tel, kept telling me to watch Haikyu because it has everything that I like, knowing that I like slice of life anime. And man, dog, right after I edited and aired episode 34, I finished season 2 and season 3 in the span of 2 days. I did not stop watching that shit. I couldn't stop watching that shit. It was incredible. It's incredible. It's the best sports anime of all time, even though I only watched 3.
So I honestly have to agree with you. And I've clearly, I would say, I've probably watched as much sports anime as you, if not more. And Haikyu, it has breached my top 10 easily. And I think that if these movies, because I haven't watched the movies yet.
Me either. Good point.
They're on Verve, so I'm going to watch those. And then when season 4 is finished, because I don't want to watch week to week, because my heart will break. My heart will break if I watch week to week. I know it will. So first of all, Haikyu is way intense to watch week to week.
Straight up.
Like I don't even know why they even bother. Like they better off just doing like the Netflix thing when they just drop the whole season.
Yeah.
You just watch it, because if I had to wait week to week to watch Haikyu,
no, it's over. I'm done.
It's a wrap. My heart's gonna break. I'm gonna cry in between weeks of episodes.
Yep. I'm gonna hate the show. Done. I gotta watch it straight out. Oh, not that I would hate the show, but I would hate the show for basically giving me blue balls. Like there's no way in hell that I can do that show.
It's like the ultimate like mixture of blue balls between like character development and then like you just want to see what happens next, right? So let's talk about.
Oh my god, it's so wonderful.
Can we talk about Haikyu, because we haven't had like a real deep dive talk about Haikyu. We wasn't expecting to do this topic, but I feel like it deserves this.
Let's do it.
Season 2, right?
Okay, so should we just rate it? but it's only up to season 3, even though season 4 isn't done yet.
Yeah, that's not rated yet. Not rated yet.
Okay. I'm getting too hyped.
Let's at least get to season 4. We don't necessarily say we don't have to watch the movies. I'm gonna watch the movies anyway this next week.
Me too.
But once season 4 is finished, then we rate it.
I got you. That's a good deal.
Or at least see, because if the way season 4 ends, depending on how that ends, we may decide not to rate it yet, because it could end up going into like
a season 5 with another 10 episodes or some shit like that.
Right. So let's just play that by ear.
Okay.
When it feels ripe in time, that's when we'll do it. But let's just talk about it. Let's get some ideas. Let's
This has some of first off, I'm gonna start off. I watched the whole thing dubbed. The dubbed is literally, I said this on Black Anime Podcast, so if you're a crossover fan that listen to both of our podcasts, I will be repeating some stuff, so I apologize for that, but bear with me. The show's dub is the best dub ever. I never heard anything done so well. You don't understand. Like, you grow so attached to these characters. I done forgot it was an anime that I was even watching. It was that good. But as far as like the cast of characters, the best group of characters since Astro Lost in Space, for sure. Even though they did it first, so I guess Haikyu is the carrier of that torch for sure. The best cast of characters ever. You care about every last one of them.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I'm speechless.
Yes. So, season 1, we watched that already. We kind of talked about it a little bit. The best thing about season 1 is that it kind of was that introduction.
Yeah.
And we saw these characters kind of show their initiative and their willpower to want to be more and do more. Season 2, we saw them apply and try and want to like actually try and learn things, right? Season 2 seemed like the season of failure.
Yeah, so the first half of the season was the season of absolute failure.
Yeah, getting
mauled.
Right? Every 5 seconds, they was losing to something. But they was learning.
Yep.
And we saw that it didn't matter what they were losing to. It seemed like even though they were losing, they were learning, right? So that's what didn't turn you off to it. It's like,
dude, let me just say something. I'm sorry to interrupt you because you
go ahead, bro. We in here.
You're absolutely right. The structure of season 2 was by far some of the best structure I've seen in any anime, like not just slice of life, because the first half of it is nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna just say this. The first half of it is the failure. They're training to get better. And then the second half of that season, episode 13, 14 on, is them starting to slowly apply that and get better, and other people starting to understand like the processes of training and getting better and understanding each other's play style. And yes, they're still losing. They're still getting their ass whooped, but they're training and they're learning and they're growing together. And that shit is the best. That character development in that show is top. It's a 10.
And even like the sprints and the dives came into play. Like the fact they lost and had to do so many dives came into play into how these guys played in season 2 when they actually came around to getting into game time. Like how they were sprinting up the hill and stuff. All of this stuff came into play. And honestly, like, yo, who wrote this story?
Facts,
like,
bro.
Come on, my dude. Like, so like, the Lost Homie Aaron was talking about how, as a person who played sports, right, you could really appreciate Haikyu.
Yeah.
And I remember playing for in Cleveland, the Maple Heights Lions. I remember playing for Milkovich and Maple Heights High School Mustangs. Yeah. And I remember grinding, like the coaches being like, before you can even hit Coach a baseball,
Lattimore.
before you can even hit somebody with football equipment on, before you can even run the cross country track, before you can even do all of that, right?
Yeah.
You had to like condition first, right? Mm-hmm. It was like this grind that all the coaches would always make you do. And It was like, it would pay off, right? Before I could run 10 miles straight in cross country, your boy had to run a mile or had to run from the middle school all the way to the high school, take a 5-minute break, and then run back to the middle school.
Yep.
You know, before I could hit anybody with pads on, we had to run
Straight
2
up.
miles around the track at the high school. So it's like these kids in this show, it feels like something that was real because I did this. Other people have done this. This is what like coaches want you. They want you to grind. And these characters, they grind and they grind and they grind. And it's application. You see it pay off. There's nothing more fulfilling, honestly.
Absolutely. Nothing more fulfilling. Now, let's take a step back, okay? Now, how much volleyball knowledge did you have before watching the Haikyu?
Surf.
And Spike, right?
Spike,
that's all we knew.
Maybe block.
It's all we knew is the serve, spike, and block. But the way that this anime teaches somebody who can know nothing, and you can know absolutely zilch about volleyball, the way it teaches you and slowly introduces you to the rules of volleyball, to what players' roles are, to how the court is set up, to who does what and when, and how the rotations go. Like, it is insane. I know what a chance ball is. Why I should know what a chance ball is.
I can spike the ball as long as I hit that line. It ain't out.
Right.
You know, I got that point.
I know what a libero is. Why would I know what a libero is, bro?
That's
it's
what
insane.
I'm saying. Oh my god,
it's so good, dude.
So good, man.
It's so good. You can't underappreciate how great this show is. And I'm sorry, we're just going to sing Haikyu praises for 11 minutes of this episode, but it's totally worth the watch. If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. You have to. It's one of the greatest sports anime. It's the greatest sports anime of all time. It's definitely cracking my top 10 easy. I mean, that's without a fucking question.
Easy.
Maybe one day we'll give you our full top 10, but since we only have our top 5s out, but like this is in it. I'm a for sure say that. So,
as we talked about before, when Polo first told me he had watched Haikyu, I was a little shook because of his introduction to it, how he introduced that he had watched Haikyu to me. Now that he's singing such high praises, I expect nothing less than my highly appraised brother, who enjoys these kind of qualities in anime. So Polo, I am so happy that you enjoy this show as much as I do, bro.
So very much.
It's been a great ride, and I can't wait to get more. I can't wait for season 4 to be over.
Right. And you know what? To be honest, yes, I finished season 3 and I'm like clamoring for more, but I'm not lost without it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. To be honest, the way it wrapped up in season 3, I'm so excited about. Like, it could have been done and I would have been fine, but it's still going. So that's why I'm not too like, oh, I gotta hurry up and watch I want to watch season 4. Of course I'm gonna watch season 4, but I'm not like, I need to watch season 4 because season 3 ended so well.
It ends on like, it's not even like a cliffhanger. It's like, there's more, right? You know there's more. But it leaves you at a point to where like, you can kind of imagine the rest, and then they're going to give you the rest later, right? But you don't have to like super thirst over it, you know?
Exactly.
So that's awesome.
I'm comfortable waiting, but good news, everybody. So because I watched Haikyu, literally all of it, Tell decided that he's going to watch Clannad. So we're going to talk about that probably sometime next week.
He exposed me.
I had to. Because I'm so glad that you're watching it. I don't know if it's going to put you in the same place that it put me because of where I was back then when I watched it. Because the show is old as hell. It's like, 2008 or something like that?
I will tell you, so starting it off, it actually looks very good.
It looks phenomenal.
I almost feel like you told me that in the beginning it was boring or something like that.
It's different.
It doesn't feel really boring. It almost feels like it has a kind of like tenseness to it in the beginning.
You ain't seen nothing yet, brother.
It just... Okay, I haven't seen anything yet, but I'm saying it feels kind of actually tense, and I'm surprised. So we got this. We gonna see.
It's just slower. That's all. It's not that it's boring. I don't think it's boring. I think that it's slow, but I definitely don't think that it's boring. So I can't wait to hear your thoughts about that. Hopefully next week. We'll see. I kind of brought it up on the show because I'm kind of hoping that means next week he'll have it done. And if y'all don't know, Clannad is my number one anime of all time. And it's not even for the reasons of our objective scale. Like I don't even think it is scale high on our scale, to be 100% honest with you. It's just the impact it had.
Yeah.
It's fire. Yeah.
I think our listeners by now will understand that our objectivity versus our personal likes are two different things.
Yeah, facts.
Objectivity is honestly just us telling the truth and realizing what the quality of something is versus
even though that's still our opinion.
Yeah, Our personal likes and dislikes is more like, hey, this ranks this way for me because this is just what resonates with me.
Exactly.
This is what I like. You know?
Facts. Yeah. So great stuff, man. Great stuff. All right, let's roll into this topic.
Let's go.
This topic is my favorite time of the year each season, or not. I guess it's not the favorite time of the year. It's the favorite time of the season, where we rank the seasonal anime that has came out in recent years. So we're gonna do the current, like, more frequent or newer anime of winter 2020 season. So for example, it's going to be the Plunderer, the Infinite Dendrograms, the Dharma's Games, the Inspector. It's going to be those anime that are currently ongoing, like fresh and new to this season. Yeah. We're going to rank those, give you our thoughts on them, talk about them a little bit, maybe not spoil it as much as we usually do.
Kind of like how we said, this is what we're interested in this season.
Yeah.
And this is what we actually watched and enjoyed this season.
Exactly. So going from there, do you want to start with the 5 and then go down, or you want to start maybe with some disappointments, or?
How about we do this? We go from 5 to 1. Mm-hmm. Before we say 1, we say our disappointment.
Let's do that. Perfect. What a perfect layout. All right. So for 5, for your boy Polo,
let's go.
I'm going to have to go with Infinite Dendrogram.
Okay.
No. Yes. Infinite Dendrogram. I do like the concept of it. The show isn't executing properly for me, though. It's not a go out and must watch. You can wait till the dub is done. The dub isn't that great, to be honest, either. But you can wait till the dub is done and like throw it up on a monitor in the background while you're doing something else. Yeah, and then glance over it when you see.
Retry.
Yeah, exactly. And then throw it on when you're seeing something cool happening. It's okay. The Infinite Dendrogram is basically SAO, but worse, like way worse. It doesn't have really
You're not engaged with the characters as much.
Exactly. You don't care about these characters. I don't really know what the fuck is even going on. I kind of got a gist of it. You're trying to figure out who these player killers are, and it's not that interesting because it's not even any real like punishment other than you get banned from the game for 24 hours if you die in the game. It's an isekai that's just not hitting as hard as it should. So Infinite Dendrogram for me is you should watch it, but it's not a must watch. So it's gonna be number 5 for me.
That's crazy. So Polo and I normally agree on things, obviously. Not all the time. Yeah. This is gonna be one of them times we agree because Infinite Dendrogram is my number 5 for the season.
Yeah.
I went into this expecting great things from Infinite Dendrogram.
Me too.
And I'm not gonna say necessarily great things, but I expected better. Like I would say Infinite Dendrogram for me is below average, but it's not low enough to be like complete trash.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. It's not low enough to not be on this list.
Yeah. So Infinite Dendrogram rates at number 5 for me as well. And it's mostly for the same reasons that like I want more character development, and obviously it's still early on. Was like 5 episodes in.
Yep.
So there's still more room to grow and more development to be made or had. But with such a cool concept, like I said, I love the embryo concept.
Oh yeah.
I just don't think it's really being like I would have loved if our embryo or his embryo
was unique,
unique, but wouldn't have popped up so soon, right?
Yeah.
Like would have shown like signs of doing something. And he's kind of embracing and growing it instead of just like,
it popped out and it's done. Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I get it. I'm not writing a story, but I'm here to judge, and that's what I'm gonna do.
even if the show, like, if nobody, okay, I understand that everybody gets the embryo, but like, I think it'd be great if he was and it's so cliche for me to even say this, but I think it'd have been great if he was the only one that got this embryo and it like slowly was hatching and it became something. Like characters, yeah, can have their own unique weapons and skills and stuff, but when it came to the embryo thing, I think that should have been unique to our main character, and maybe I would have felt more attached. Everybody in this world gets an embryo. Everybody in this world has, you know, a certain skill. I don't know.
And that's where, like I said, I agree. Is that like the embryo thing? I like the concept of everyone having an embryo because it shows the development of the world, right? Everyone gets something. Like our Kuma dude, the bear dude, his embryo is more or less like his gun.
Yeah.
You know, that's cool. Other people's embryos might be like magic or something like that. Our main character's embryo is a human-esque form.
Which is multiples of those around that world. That's what I mean. Like if that human form was only unique to him, that'd have been
it should have been more uncommon.
Yeah.
It should have been more rare. It should have been legendary, epic kind of level, right?
Yep.
Like if I'm in Borderlands and everybody got the same infinite shooting gun I got, like is it really epic? Is it really legendary?
Exactly.
You know, that's all I'm saying is that they should have made it seem more rare. Like and then to me, in my personal opinion, who they met, and I'm not trying to give away too many spoilers, but who they met who had like the incubus or succubus embryo,
the pimp,
that shit better. Like why would I want a human when I can have a whole ass half demon embryo? Like can I get that shit right there, my dude? And I'm honestly might make more sense later. I'm just saying.
Well, I guess we'll see. We'll give these the final ratings. We're not even gonna rate all of these shows on the official Mic Check Waifu scale, but we will like give our thoughts on them at the end of this season. But yeah, I totally agree. It's number 5 for that one. You want to go with number 4?
Oh, you want me to lead? All right.
Yeah.
My number 4. I only watched one episode of it, but I actually think it completely deserves it. And it's Doro Hidoro. And I wasn't gonna watch this at first because I don't like watching things that garner too much hype. But I actually started this. And I've only watched one episode, and it seems really good.
Where'd you find it?
On the site that shall not be named.
Oh, so it's an Amazon.
I think it's on. I think it's actually on Funimation though. I just
I didn't see it.
Okay. I mean, I found it on a site that shall not be named. But it actually, the animation style doesn't bother me, right? It's 3D. It's not 3D as bad as like RF Ureta or
Good. Good.
It looks way cleaner than that. And then it does this transition from like 3D to 2D that actually looks super clean, where you can't tell it's 3D, but it still has that really clean 2D look. Okay. So it actually looks really good. I'm interested in the world. I'm interested in how the story's going to play out. And I've only watched one episode, and to me, that one episode is better than everything I've seen in Infinite Dendrogram. Oh. So I'm here for this. And it's actually 10th highest rated so far for the year.
I see. Yeah. So it might be something I add to the list, actually. It's 12 episodes. It doesn't even say where it can be found, which is unusual. Oh, here it is. No. Yeah, no. The site that shall not be named is the only place. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. For my number 4, gosh, man, and it kills me. I mean, not that it kills me to say this, because it should have probably even been number 5, but I think I like it just a smad bit better than Infinite Dendrogram, and that's Plunderer. The only reason why I like it better than Infinite Dendrogram is the world, man. The concept of these numbers and what they do with them has so much potential of being great, but it's the execution is terrible. The main character is this jokey, what's a Brock-like character that straight up simp, and he's not that interesting other than I really want to know his backstory, but I want him to be he should have been like this super cool character. And I guess I understand this anime is one of those animes that's not trying to take itself too seriously. Like the guy dresses up in pudding with a silly goofy mask, and he wears a goofy mask to hide his identity. But if it decided to be like that, take the Trigun route. Like you know what? That's exactly what it's trying to do. It's trying to take the Trigun route, but it's failing so bad at it because it doesn't fit this world. Trigun, the way that was set up, actually fit that world that it was in. This world should be a serious, like a serious set with like how if your number drops down to 0, then you go to the abyss. Like it should be darker, you know what I'm saying, more gritty. And this one is just not that at all. And I can't stand it. I literally can't stand it, but I can't stop watching it. It's actually annoying. So Plunderer is one that should and could be better, but it's failing so hard. It's such wasted potential. It hurts my heart.
So what if Plunderer does like an entire, like a whole 180 and just turns around and says like, we gonna make this good?
Man, five episodes in.
For that still.
Yes, it did. It did.
Is it gonna be a 12 episode series?
I think so.
So at episode 6, they could literally turn this around and be like, hey, look, this is what we really was going for. Like, we wanted to kind of lead you into this false sense of insecurity.
Yeah.
And then be like, bam, here's the greatness. But it's a really bad idea.
Yeah.
Because if they did that, they could have lost like so much viewership.
Right. If you think about it, like the show has like, again, it has its moments where it gets more serious. Like he's like our guy Licht is fighting one of the lieutenants. He finds out one of the lieutenant's number is actually not 900. It was hidden to be 12,500 was his actual number, which means that he's actually extremely powerful. But then come to find out that our main character Licht, who was only 5,700, was like, oh, okay, your number is way bigger, so I might have a little bit of trouble with you. He fights him and he gets captured. When he gets captured, he breaks out and saying, I could have broke out of this at any time. And the reason why I didn't go as hard as I could was because this chick is trying to keep the city safe, and so am I. So now it indicates that our guy Licht is actually even more powerful than what his number actually says. But because it's filled with these shitty ass comedic beats, it's horrible timing with these jokes. A lot of fucking
all of its impact.
A lot of fanfare. It just loses its impact completely and turns into something that is just not good. Like that little bit of excerpt that I gave you, if that was the whole show, you would think, damn, this show sounds dope. No, yeah. It's not. It's not. It hurts, man. It hurts.
It's not dope.
But it's number 4 for the reason.
Better.
Yeah, it's number 4 for that little excerpt that I gave. That's why it's number 4, because you could take small 7-minute segments from it and look at it like gold, but it doesn't execute fully.
At least it gets a little bit of gold, right?
A little bit.
So all right, number 3. What's your number 3, Polo?
So for number 3, let me go back to the list and show what I watched real quick, because I want to make sure I'm doing this correctly. Okay. So the number 3 is, this is probably going to be the same for both of us, maybe. I don't know. But for me, it's going to be ID Invaded. ID Invaded is number 3. This is definitely one of the psychologicals that you should watch for sure. It's not doing anything special with characters. Actually, episode 7, we just got introduced to who these detectives that like kind of runs the wells actually are. Like we actually got their name for the first time in 7 episodes, which is crazy to me because like, how did we not know their names the entire time?
Yeah.
Which goes to show how good the plot and the story is of this show. Like, and like the mysterious elements of it, it's kind of predictable.
Like we talked about with the Lost Homie. Yeah. The world is very enticing, and we were willing to let the characters go for the world. Right.
But now, in this most recent episode, the characters are becoming a little bit more interesting because you learn something that is kind of a huge plot twist, and I would not give that away here. I refuse, because this is definitely something at number 3 that you should watch, because it's most certainly unique. But just look at it like it's a detective show. Not a Monster of the Week Detective Conan type of show, but it's a detective show nonetheless, and it's definitely psychological for sure. It tries to mess with your brain. If you don't, even though it's kind of predictable. And hey, shout out to D Prince or Kush by the Bush. This is his first detective show he's watching. So let us know what you think about that. Hit us up on Twitter after you listen to this episode. What you think about up to episode 7 so far. Get a little quick review from him.
So my number 3 is Darwin's Game.
Whoa, what?
Yeah. My number 3 is Darwin's Game. And my only reason Darwin's Game is number 3.
He broke me.
Hey, my only reason Darwin's Game is number 3 is because to me, right now it feels a little predictable. Right? It feels a little predictable. I still love the world. I still love how it's playing out. I love the characters. And I loved this latest episode in terms of like how they're kind of like showing that there's someone who is don't do that to me, Polo.
I'm trying my best not to
How
say.
like there's someone that they mutually dislike. You know? That there's a mutual disdain for this character. And then a character that we thought was overpowered from the beginning is actually not as powerful as we thought. It might be a little bit of trouble. You know, I like those ideas, and I like where it's going. But I'm not saying it's the worst. I'm just saying my opinion is that something else is just better. I enjoy it.
Wow. Okay, so our list is going to be extremely different. Wow. Whoa, that just fucking threw me for several loops. I mean, I guess you can go to your number 2 then.
All right, my number 2 is ID Invaded.
What? All right. I quit this podcast, episode 35. The show ends.
Hey, all right, guys, welcome to Mike Check Waifu with your host, Polo Born Fly. I'm here with you, King of the Aviation Squad. You know how I do.
God, what? ID Invaded over Darwin's Game? Please elaborate.
Bro. All right. So I like ID Invaded's story so much. And I love that they waited so long. I mean, I'm not gonna necessarily say it's not, but what I'm saying is that like I like how they're waiting for the character development and how the character development is like they kind of waited for a sweet spot for it, you know?
Yeah.
Like they didn't just say, boom, here's character development, right? They didn't just say outright show you where the character development is going to be. They kind of sprinkled in hints of character development from episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, and then here we get to see why or how this person carried out his act to become the detective and whatnot, right? And to me, that just seemed efficient. Like it seemed like for someone like me, I enjoy that delivery significantly better than I enjoyed a delivery. I'm going to say ID Invaded is my number 2 for the season so far because, in my opinion, it's fire.
It's definitely fire, but
not to mention that the music is amazing. Every time, I'm not skipping no music on this.
No, you're right about that.
Period.
You're right about that. There's no chance in hell that I'm gonna say that is better than Darwin's Game, though.
I mean, I understand it. I also enjoy the moments when they're solving the crimes because, like, I'm trying to decipher why these things make sense. And
but there's no way you can. There's no. Yeah. That's the problem with ID Invaded. There's no way, as a viewer, you can solve the crime before they solve the crime because it just doesn't. They don't show us everything. We only see a little bit of glimpse of what they can see inside of a well.
Because we don't know everything.
Exactly.
But I do think that like a lot of the concepts they put together make sense and how they make the puzzles in these make a lot of sense, right? So like they don't display the entirety of the story to us. And I'm assuming at some point they are going to display it. And if they don't, then Darwin's Game will be back above this. But I like the delivery of how they give us the puzzles, and then when they display those puzzles, how they're laid out for us to understand.
But they don't give us the puzzle. They give us the answers to the puzzle. That's it. They don't ever give us the actual puzzle itself. That we know, okay, the lightning is striking, and then she's kind of like talking you through of like the answers of this puzzle. That's like I would like to have some time as a viewer to sit and say, maybe if this is why, but lightning doesn't strike, but this is, and that'll get me more involved. But it's just literally, she's dropped in the puzzle. She's literally giving us the answers to the puzzle almost immediately the moment she's in there. So
what Polo just did, creator and writer of ID Invaded, is just told you how to make a 10 out of 10 season for episode or for season 2 of ID Invaded.
They're easy.
Don't give us the answer.
Don't give us the answer. Let us figure it out, and then towards the end. But I understand though because they have a
look at it.
Yeah, I understand because they do have a lot to go through in a show like this one though. Like once you put it in perspective, they got all this shit going on outside of the well, as well as going on inside of the well, then going inside of another well. It's like a lot going on. So
honestly, this might be one of those anime, like, you know how we say it benefits from a 45-minute first episode?
Yes.
This might benefit from like the Psycho-Pass treatment where you get a 45-minute or an hour long episode and just give us 12 episodes, and that might be fire, because we want to discover, we want to decipher information.
Yes.
It's going to have 13 episodes, so let us figure it out, you know? If you're going to give us 13 episodes, give us extended episodes, because we want to see that.
I can already tell you how this is going to play out without even finishing it. But I won't do that because it's definitely...
You know who John Walker is?
100%.
Okay.
100%. Like I
can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
It's so simple that it's actually... If I'm right, dog, I'm going to tell you after the show. And if I'm right, I'm playing a lottery or something, because this is kind of a reach, but I think this is how the show goes. This show's kind of reaches, so we'll see from there. My number 2 is obviously going to be Inspector. Inspector is phenomenal-tastic. It's great. It's great in every sense of the word. I love the characters. I don't love the characters as much as I could be. No, I do love the characters a lot. I don't love the world as much as I could. I think the world is a little underdeveloped. Mm-hmm. But the characters are definitely by far the best part about this show. And they're holding it down. Between the character development, we just got the backstory of our boy too. I'm definitely not going to go into any deep discussion on this, because if you haven't watched N/Spectre, you have to watch it knowing nothing, because that was the best decision I made in my life. And I know I say that about a lot of anime, but this is one of those for real you got to know nothing about. Even though previous episodes we kind of talked about it, but this shit is great. It's great. I love the character dynamic, like the two that's kind of like main characters. Their relationship is hilarious. You can't help but to love it. I love her. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. I like him. I even like Saki. Yep. She's incredible.
I might like Saki more than him.
I think so too. I think I do too. But it's intentional. It's clearly intentional. Like, he's supposed to have no feelings because of everything that they just told us today, or the most recent episode. Inspector is great. And the reason why it's not number 1 is because the world is...
It's underdeveloped.
Yeah, underdeveloped. Oh, now it's time for number 1. But before we get to number 1, I'm going to throw out my disappointment. My biggest disappointment. Boy, that's going to be what my most anticipated was, okay? My most anticipated this season was Pet. That is my biggest disappointment. I only watched 1 episode. I'm like, what the fuck? It's supposed to be psychological. It's supposed to be confusing. But it's not confusing in a good way. It's confusing in like, I am wasting my time. I don't care about anything that goes on. The first episode is about these people getting into people's minds and kind of fucking people's minds up. And it tries too hard to be, I guess, convincing. And it's not. Yeah. Like, 2 characters you find out are some people that specialize in breaking people's minds intentionally. And it's just, I don't know. It don't feel right. I don't think I will continue it. It's my biggest disappointment because that was my most anticipated.
Damn.
What about yours?
That's intense, bro. Because, you know, some people have been liking Pet, but
yeah, I don't like that shit.
I'm gonna agree with you, because like I haven't even started it yet. But if you don't like it because of that,
it's trying.
I know I'm not gonna like it. I'm gonna be real with you. I already know. My disappointment is Breakers. And you know, I talked about this. This is the anime where it's about the para athletes trying to join, you know, the Paralympics and stuff like that. And I feel like they had a really big chance here.
It's because you watched Haikyu.
It's not even that. It's not even that. They just had a really big chance. And what, number 5 highest rated of 2020? Number 5 most popular of 2020?
No way.
But the actual... Dude, bro, I have no idea how. I literally have no idea how. But like... At least that's what it's saying on AnyList. But like...
Yeah. No, it is.
my issue with this series is that like they had a chance to make these characters mean something to us, you know? Like, no, I don't have a disability, but you can make that disability mean something to me. The episodes are only about 8 or 10 minutes long.
Yeah, I see.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with an 8 or 10 minute episode if you make it, like, you have to make it meaningful.
Right.
And that's what I went into this for. I didn't go into this for, like, specifically, like, sports. Yes, I did watch Haikyu, and I want some Haikyu action, but I don't necessarily want Haikyu action in my anime about Paralympic or para athletes. I wouldn't mind it. You can make this intense. There was like a really cool moment in a couple of these, but there was nothing that was like linking me to the characters, you know? Like I've done community service and I've helped I guess you would say like para athletes or Paralympic people before. And none of this makes me feel like that even mattered. You know, I feel like this whole series was like almost like a letdown. Like you could have given me more. You could have gave me more feeling or insight. Yeah. And it just didn't deliver. And that's why it's my disappointment. I wanted more, and I'm sorry for it because it didn't give it to me.
So would this one have been better if it was actually 24 minutes?
What would they have put into it?
I don't know. You tell me.
Because they could have made it 24 minutes and gave us more feeling. But I think, honestly, I don't think it's the time frame. I just think it's the delivery. Like if they had gone in, because like even the very first episode, right? The very first episode, if I recall, they go in, dude's playing basketball, and he's got like the alloy legs, like the metal legs or whatever, because he doesn't have his regular legs. And he's like playing basketball. The coach is like watching him play basketball, and he can't really like go all out and score because he's handicapped. He doesn't have the ability to go all out with the people who have like regular legs, right? And he says, "Have you thought about playing in a wheelchair?" And the kid's like, "In a wheelchair? You know, why would I want to?" Okay, so he sits in the wheelchair and plays, and he realizes this is harder than it looks, right? Right. You could have made that moment intense. Like, this is harder than it looks. Like, why can't I turn and do, like, you could have given us development even in that 8 minutes. Like, you could have shown us that, like, even though this character was already disabled and already had a hard time playing with, you know, alloy legs or not real legs, you know, had a hard time in the first place. Now you put him in a wheelchair, and you didn't really give us an adequate reason as to why it was more difficult to play in a wheelchair, or even why it was better for him to play in a wheelchair. Why would you even recommend him playing in a wheelchair?
I see.
If it didn't make a difference, why would you? I
got you. So it was no actual struggle, or it was actual struggle, but it wasn't like a struggle.
It wasn't even like it was the struggle. It was just there was no structure to the struggle.
No struggle. Like, yes, that's what I mean.
Hey, put him in a wheelchair. Play in a wheelchair. For what? Why? Right. Why don't I want to play in a wheelchair if I got legs? And if it makes sense for me to play in a wheelchair, even though I have legs, what edge does it give me? What reasoning am I playing in a wheelchair so I can actually compete with others and show my talents that I normally have when I'm standing up? Yeah. Well, it was lackluster entirely, and I just feel disappointed that I watched it. Well, I mean, I feel like they could have gave us a better handicap, you know, inspiring show. Yeah. And I sincerely hope that they turn it around. Straight up.
Hopefully they do. Now to number one. My number one is going to be Darwin's Game. For the opposite reason that Tail says, Darwin's Game is fucking phenomenal. Now, I understand it seems predictable because it seems like our friend needs, I don't even see how you see it as predictable, because to be honest, I didn't think nobody could take her down. But it makes sense in why she got taken down, because her sigil does not work in the area and where she was. She was at a huge disadvantage, so she tried to retreat, fell miserably. We come up to this mysterious girl who literally seems to be so OP that is actually crazy, and now we're starting to get this whole. But at the same time that this is happening, our whole group of people that end up coming together, because it's a way bigger threat than anything that we thought is coming about. It's just structured so fucking well, and I can't I cannot stand the fact that I'm watching this week to week because I just want to fucking keep going. I want to know what's going to happen next every single time, dog. Every single time. Like the main character, he's like your typical main character. His drive is so strong no matter what. He's definitely weak, but mentally powerful. Like I just appreciate that. And the way it was given to us and the way he is. And I just feel like it's just the best show so far.
Yeah. So I'm not taking that away from him. Here's why I say it's predictable. Is that I knew as soon as I saw this girl that they show, and I mean, obviously this is this issue. They show her like having this water power, right? And you can tell from the beginning. All right, when they first introduce this girl, they say a boy. This boy has, or the girl says this is a boy who has this water power, right? So she clearly has some kind of split personality, and that might have something to do with her sigil. Now, clearly she can control water, and she can do regular water flow or freezing. And I think she's going to end up being another character who clans with our main character.
I mean, she's in the intro, so obviously, like that's.
But like the weird firefighting dude is in the intro too, and he's just going to be another enemy. I just think because like the way they show her in the intro is that she looks like she's a threat. They didn't show her as like someone who might clan and member with them. So to me, I feel like because like I didn't think the Skullhead dude was going to be in our party. I didn't think that, but I knew.
Damn. We sort of spoiling it. We gotta stop. Sorry.
I'm sorry, listeners.
Our fault. We got it into it. But yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
I do think though that like Darren's game is great, and I think that it has a great chance to push forward. I just need delivery. I need some spontaneity.
Dog, it is. It's there. It's okay. We're gonna wait. This is one that we're gonna come back to. We're gonna revisit this episode because I guarantee you Tails going to change his thought if Darwin's game continue to be as good as it. I hope it don't drop off for me and I don't eat my own words here, but I love it. And I think Tail will too by the end of it. For sure.
My number one.
I already know.
I mean, I know you know. My number one is Inspector.
It's not wrong.
And it's Inspector because I wasn't expecting to enjoy like not even the main characters much. I wasn't expecting to enjoy the two female characters as much, And I mean, I guess if we're being fair, one of them is technically the main character. And I feel like we now have a threesome of main characters who honestly they're all understandable. What would you do if you were forced to eat? What would you do if you were if this power is forced on you, right? What would you do? What would you do if you became?
Don't even do it, man.
I'm just saying. I'm not trying to
go any further, bro. Know nothing about this show. It's the best way to go into the show.
But in this position, though, right? Like, do they not all make sense on how they respond?
Yes.
On how their response is, and even looking at how this latest episode went when they were engaging in these different combats and whatnot. It makes sense, because like
totally.
And that's just, it makes sense. I love when they figure out and solve things. It just feels, feels like where ID Invaded didn't give us.
Yes.
Because it seems like we can figure this out, but it doesn't feel like something that's too difficult for us. And then they implemented some things that were in legit Japanese culture in terms of like spirits and stuff. I loved it. I was like, let's fucking go.
We had the opportunity to figure out what this episode was about last episode, and then they discussed what this was about this most recent episode. You get what I'm saying? Like the mystery of this whole of the past two episodes, us as viewers had the opportunity to solve it last episode. That's the difference between this and ID Invaded. ID Invaded doesn't give you the opportunity because it kind of throws it all at you all at once. But this episode, they
solve it for you beforehand.
Exactly, and then explain how they solved it. But this one, on the other hand, like gave you time to it gave it time to marinate and the mystery to build. But then when you're watching last week's episode, you're like, oh, damn, I get it. Oh, shit. And then this week's episode, and then they explain exactly what you feel like you got. And it's not predictable. It makes you feel smart. It's phenomenal. It's just great. Inspector is great, but I highly suggest if you're listening to
anything about it.
Yes, do not know anything about it, bro. Because once you learn about the stuff that we know now, you be like, God damn, this all makes sense, including how certain characters act and what's the reason why they act that way. And
yeah, and I guess part of my enjoyment for it is because Monique and I enjoy Japanese like spiritual culture in general. Like, and this is how I know Monique is my personal waifu, how I always knew that she's gonna be mine. When we first started talking years ago, I didn't even know she looked into that kind of stuff, like how Japanese yokai and spirits work. And she had already known a lot about that stuff. And I was just like, that's my baby. I love her. She knows. She knows. So yeah, that's a J. Kerr song, isn't it?
It is.
Hey, if you listen to this episode, we shout you out. But that was, I don't know, it's just another thing is that like if you're into that culture,
yeah,
that's going to be another inspiration for
you. Straight up. That's a good number one. Like it was, you can interchange our ones and twos and it'd be like, you're absolutely right. Like there's no way you'll be wrong with putting Inspector number one. Mm-hmm. You are wrong for putting Darwin's Game 3 though.
I'll take that. Bro.
No, I'm just kidding. I'll just messing around with you. But yeah, this is where we would take a break. But do you want to just go right into the My Hero talk? Because we 51 minutes in and skip the break this week.
All right. I'm sorry, Mike. Take waifu listeners. We don't have a banger for you this week.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I love y'all. It's 51 minutes in, so we want to have y'all actually, hear our thoughts on it.
Conversation was too good.
Yeah, it was way too good. So good. I actually want you to hear our thoughts on this My Hero episode because I got some.
Yeah, I know what your thoughts are already.
Do you really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me just start. This is the part where we spoil My Hero, the entire most recent episode. This is the shit. I mean, what do we call it? The part of the podcast where we just cover an ongoing anime that we both are watching, that we both have to watch no matter what the week is. Mm-hmm. And that's My Hero. This episode was the best episode of the season.
I knew you was going to say that.
This tops the overall episode for me, the fight and everything. This tops the Mirio fight for me because this episode I feel was way more important to the integral story of My Hero as a whole. Like the overhaul shit happened. It was beautiful. It looked great. It was a good episode. But I feel like this was much more important to My Hero Academia than that was. Because, I mean, that shit is over. It's done. It's gone. But this shit right here?
This shit
here was very, very, very important to both Todoroki and Bakugo. Like, yeah, man, this is what they needed because I hated Bakugo. I hated him. I couldn't fucking stand him. I still can't stand. Well, I can stand him more now.
You can stand him now, yeah.
Yeah, but like I could not stand. He was just fucking annoying, and his motivations weren't there at first. But to see that he learned something throughout all of this time, to see that he actually physically, mentally learned something in his, I guess you can call it shameful, in his most shameful time, is the most beautiful shit about this. It's character development.
So the great thing about Bakugo's character development in this episode is that he couldn't do anything in this episode.
Yes. His
quirk would have messed everything up because he is King Explosion Murder. Yep. He has a quirk that literally blows stuff up, right? Mm-hmm. So he had to come up with an idea. He had to be the idea so that he could be a hero.
Yep.
Because he had to realize that even though I want to be a hero and I can do all these cool things with my quirk, he had to realize that I got to set this aside.
Straight up.
Because if I come in here on these kids, I can definitely beat all these fight for sure. Blow all of their faces off. But if he were to do that, where would the story go? How would these kids change in the future? And you know, how would these characters develop? And then we had like Todoroki's development, because before we leave Bakugo hadn't had any. We only last development we saw with Bakugo was when him and Deku fought.
Yep.
And that's when the first time we saw Bakugo kind of break down because he felt weak versus someone he thought was weak.
Yep.
That was our first break in Bakugo. Now we actually see Bakugo developing past that.
Yes.
So that was beautiful. Now we have Todoroki, where he is fighting and he's doing things in front of his father, and he doesn't have a problem using his fire quirk and his ice quirk now. So he's doing both of them, you know, versus when we first saw him use his fire quirk. The last time we actually saw him use his fire quirk was with Deku. Mm-hmm. And when he fought Deku in season 2, you know?
Well, he used it. He used it in the provisional test too.
Did
with
he?
With the Windu, but
okay. Yeah. Well,
he was still spiteful about it. Like,
yeah. So, you know, now he has no problem with using it and doesn't think about, oh, well, I shouldn't use this because of my dad.
Right.
You know, he has a whole, like, it's my power now, and I've come to grips and terms with that.
I think, me personally, I think the best character development was Bakugo and fucking Endeavor, dog. That whole side conversation that he was having with All Might, that shit hit. It not only hit me, but it hit me in the place of Endeavor. I'm like, man, like,
oh, when it takes to be the number one hero.
Exactly. I just said it to myself out loud. Actually, I'm in my office by myself, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like his whole mentality as he's watching his son do what he needs to do to pass his provisional license, knowing that he can fight. He can fight really well, but it's more than that. You have to be more than that to be a hero, not just be a good fighter, not just be all powerful. Like, it's more to it than that. And to see Endeavor like fucking suck that shit up and chill out a bit, cool down, if you will.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
And talk about character development even more. Our number 2 hero, he let us know what it looks like to be number 1 and why it's such a climb.
Yep.
Like, number 1 is Mount Everest.
Yep.
Number 2 is literally leagues and leagues and leagues lower. Mm-hmm. And he feels like even though he's number 1, he isn't the true symbol that All Might was.
Yep.
So it's like he's seeing now what number 1 should be, and he feels like he's not there. And that's the first, let's say, like Bakugo, that's the first break in Endeavor.
Yep.
We see what Endeavor is truly feeling. And
he wants to prove to his son that he's going to be a hero he can be proud of. Yeah. Just a society, period. Son anymore.
He just wants to be like, because he was trying to be the strongest, is what he said.
Yep.
I want to be stronger than anyone ever. And now it's like, it's more than that.
Wonderful, man. And Todoroki saw that, which was awesome.
Saw that smile from Todoroki at the end. That shit was fire. Like, even it was the smallest thing. Yep. But he walked away and Todoroki smiled. And I'm like,
look back at his dad with a grin. I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah, that shit's dope.
Like,
man.
Yo, did Todoroki just wow? Because his dad was like, I'm gonna try and be a hero you can be proud of.
Mm-hmm. He understands now, man. He gets it.
I needed that kind of male empowerment growing up.
Straight up. Oh, that's funny. Like that is legit. It's legit my favorite episode this season for sure. And it wasn't that much action. It wasn't that pretty. But it was, yes, man, that story, that development is what I appreciate the most about My Hero, because we had it all throughout Deku's entire like career, and we're still getting it with Deku, which I can appreciate more than anything.
Or with other characters.
You said what?
Now we're getting it more and more with other characters.
Straight up. I just love it, man. It's, whew. Now I'm back to, I can't wait till next week for My Hero. Before I'm like, okay, I'm ready to watch this shit.
Yeah, what was this, episode 16? We got, 9 more episodes?
Yep.
So, I know where these 9 episodes are going to go.
Yeah, of course you do.
I'm clearly not going to say anything, but how do you feel like the rest of the season is going to go? Like, based off the intro, that kind of stuff.
I don't watch it. That intro's god awful, so I don't watch it.
Yeah, you didn't even look at it once.
Nope, not once. I can't stand it, dude. It's actually, the moment it comes on, it makes my body cringe. I don't have no idea. I just hope Eri get her shit together and she becomes extremely dope. She got the potential to be probably the greatest hero of all time.
How much time are you expecting to pass in this season?
I don't fucking know, but I wanted to.
my man Polo won progression in this next 9 episodes. Like, I need Ari to be 16 by the end of this episode.
Straight up. I just can't wait. I can't wait to see if Muriel gets power back. I just want to know what happened. I don't know. I'm looking forward to next week's episode. Put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back up on it now.
Let's go.
Because I fell off this rod.
Okay.
Definitely. A couple of times this season.
All right. So let's just do a recap of today's episode real quick.
Yeah.
We talked about our top 5 of the season and our disappointments. Polo's disappointment of the season being Pet, my disappointment being Breakers. Polo's top 5 being number 5, Infinite Dendrogram, number 4, Plunderer, number 3, ID Invaded, number 2, Inspector, and number 1, Darwin's Game. And then my top 5 being Infinite Dendrogram, Dorohedoro, Darwin's Game, ID Invaded, my number 1, Inspector. And then we actually enjoyed this week's episode of My Hero. Let's go.
And don't forget about the Haikyu praise we gave at the beginning of the show.
Oh, yeah, we did give a lot of Haikyu praise because Haikyu is fire.
It's so fire.
And then next week, we will be reporting to you live. With the Clannad.
Yes, bro.
From King Taliano himself, myself. I can't wait, bro.
I can't wait. I want to know. Yeah, I can't. Dude, I'm fucking mad curious. I got to probably touch up on Clannad too because I got to remember what. I only watched it twice.
That's all you need.
Yeah, because you're fucking hard to die if you watch it more than that. But yeah, so I probably need to brush up on it myself. Fuck. Yeah, we also might have another special topic for you next week.
Ooh.
Tell you want to give us what that special topic is? So,
our topic for next week is actually coming straight from the Facebook group, which is really interesting. We have obviously, we have the Facebook group, but we had a topic in the Facebook group that kind of just was on point. Mm-hmm. So Emma Jean, she's in the Facebook group and she says, so I'm in the middle of the 4th Great Shinobi War. Could you imagine being an Earth user and you have to spew mud out of your mouth to put up a wall? And I'm like, damn, nah, I can't.
Right.
I'm not spitting mud out my mouth to make a wall for you.
Straight up.
Like, no. And she said, related question. What do you think is the weirdest power in the anime world? So we're going to take that question and we're going to share it because we love that question.
Great question.
And when we share that question, leave your comments, your ideas, and let's see what you think is the weirdest power in anime world. I already have some ideas for what I'm going to say is my weirdest power in the anime world.
I got to do a little bit of research.
Hey, look, as soon as you look up weirdest anime power, it's going to be like Hamtaro can turn into a ball.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Holy fuck.
Probably not. I don't know, but it's going to be something stupid like that.
Yeah. So again, listen, I'm just about to go through and name all of our Patreon supporters because I just want to tell y'all thank you from personally, Mike Check Waifu, D Prince, Chris Goodywin, Connor, Monique Williams, Cryfu, David Persinger, Robbie Balboa, my boy, and Terry. Thank y'all so much for supporting us. We love y'all so very much. It means the absolute world to us that you want to support this dream of ours. And maybe that dream will get us to Texas at DreamCon in June.
Oh, yeah.
God, that'll be the dream. We're going to see about that. We're going to try to maybe work on that. But we'll close out this episode thanking each and every one of you for listening. Share this podcast with your friends if you can. Rate it on iTunes. That'll help us a lot. We haven't asked for that in a while. Please drown out that one negative comment we got because we posted our podcast on Reddit. That was a mistake. Thank y'all so much for listening. I'm at Polo Bornfly on all social media.
And I'm at King Taliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on Instagram and at Mike Check Waifu on Twitter. And as always, Mike Check. Mike Check 1 2 1 2.
My sweet waifu.
Is that you?